The following is a special presentation of Pregame Sports, home to regional college football and basketball.
All is quiet now over at Cameron, but the Crazies are in anticipation of the Duke-Carolina game in 24 days. Tonight's Battle of the Blues is actually 9 miles down 15501 in Chapel Hill, where a sea of blue heaven awaits the Devils. 8th-ranked Duke arrived 2 hours ago looking for their big three to calm down the Carolina crowd, already on edge with their team struggles of late. But a win over the dreaded Devils would be the perfect elixir. Doctor, give me the news. I've got tonight the Battle of the Blues. It's Raycom's ACC Game of the Week, and for many, the Game of the Year. Number 8, Duke against North Carolina. We're live. Hello, everyone. Tim Brando by my side, the big, tall Virginian Dan Bonner. For us, guys in our business, no better assignment during the regular season. Quite the rivalry.
Tim, it's universally acknowledged as one of the best rivalries in all of college sports. And tonight, a little bit more spice because this really is the Alamo for North Carolina. If they're going to make it to the big tournament, they've got to win tonight.
It is, and let's take a look at the Food Line starting lineups. And Dan, as you look at them for the Blue Devils, we all know of the big three, but as Plumlee and his brother play coming off the bench, I think that improves their chances against this taller Tar Heel front line that's given them problems in recent years.
Without question, Tim, but if you don't get big games from the big three, you may as well stay over in Durham. These guys have been extremely productive all year long, and they're going to have to continue to be against their big rival.
On the other side of the coin, when you take a look at this North Carolina team, they have struggled in the backcourt defending quality point guards on the other side, and the Food Line starting 5 shows you a gimpy and nicked up group, to be sure.
Well, Marcus Ginyard and Larry Drew are going to have to play well in the backcourt, but with a struggling team, I think your seniors really have to take over. And for North Carolina, that's Marcus Ginyard. He's struggled since that ankle injury, had a pretty good game scoring-wise against the University of Maryland. And Deon Thompson on the inside has shown flashes all year long that he can really, really be good. And I think he's going to have to be even better than that tonight.
Well, Hall of Fame coaches, when they're playing at home and they're an underdog, know when to bring in reinforcements. Tyler Hansbrough is on hand, will be honored at halftime in this game that all in Carolina so richly anticipate. It's the game that brings the nation to Tobacco Road. All-American players, Hall of Fame coaches, blue bloods that have a little bad blood when they get together.
It's a love-hate relationship. I love the haters. It's the best rivalry in all of college sports, not just in college basketball.
Both have reached the pinnacle of college basketball, yet they need to beat their neighbor to own bragging rights. The rivalry is renewed tonight for the 228th time. The Battle of the Blues tips off next on ACC Basketball on Raycom Sports.
ACC Basketball is being brought to you by Food Line, by Chick-fil-A, by your Carolina Ford dealers, by Geico, by Pepsi, and by RBC Bank.
ACC Basketball is presented in high definition. We're available by Raycom Sports. Not that you needed to know, but football season is over. Officially, all forms of it. Whenever Duke plays North Carolina, the world knows we're on the road with hardwood the rest of the way. Tim Brando, Dan Bonner, happy to be with you. Tonight's officials, Carl Hess, Les Jones, and Roger Ayers. Davis and Plumlee jump it up, and it's retrieved by Thompson, and Drew controls it for North Carolina.
And Duke starts in the man-to-man.
Ginyard with a push against Shire right away. First foul on Marcus.
That's not the way Roy Williams wanted to start the game. No. You know, Marcus Ginyard was just trying to get open. John Shire did a nice job stepping in his path. Now here's an interesting matchup. Ginyard is going to go against Shire in the North Carolina man-to-man defense. That puts Drew against Nolan Smith.
Smith, who along with Shire, 2 and 3 respectively in scoring in the ACC, coming in, misses the first.
I think North Carolina really has to try to push it up the court, Tim, and get some easy baskets against the Duke defense. You don't want to get out of control, but I think you need to get it up and down.
Ginyard blows past Singler baseline. Plumlee lost it out of bounds. Ginyard there to help a little bit, never giving up on that play.
Well, now Ginyard, you keep in mind that he's had a bad ankle, and he came down and got tangled up with Plumlee. And I think he may have tweaked that ankle a little bit.
Yeah, he really has not been himself either offensively or defensively, especially known as a great defender early in his career. He has just been bothered by injury after injury, and that includes since this season came along after missing all of last year, as everyone remembers, the national championship season.
Boy, Tim, what we've seen right here in the first minute of this game is some extremely determined defensive work, particularly by the Duke Blue Devils. The Tar Heels, I think, are going to have a tough time getting the ball all the way to the basket. They've got to create some mid-range jump shots to loosen up that defense a little bit.
We talked to Roy Williams before the game, and he did tell us without question spending of effort has been a question mark. Tonight, he expects their best shot, and Davis gets that one from point-blank range. Plumlee now, baseline extended. And the foul against Plumlee after Graves came down with a rebound. And let's take a look, Dan, at our 4 keys to the game.
Well, for the Duke Blue Devils, the lane's the thing. You just saw North Carolina get inside with an offensive rebound. The lane area has to be Duke's. They've got to dominate it. And for North Carolina, it's run defense. You made the football reference. We're not talking about football, but North Carolina's problems this year, when they lose games, their opponents generally make big runs against them. North Carolina can't allow that tonight.
Ginyard lost it to Shire. Numbers, and he'll pull it up himself. Never got the shoulder square on that one, out of bounds. It will be controlled to the Blue Devils underneath their own basket.
Each team thus far doing a really good job getting back on defense. And in a rivalry game like this, easy baskets are always an important consideration. Like to get those simple opportunities.
It is amazing the difference Duke's perimeter shooters have on the road versus at home. Now Singler rattles home that 3 off the wing, and Duke takes the 3-2 lead. But Duke is a far better perimeter shooting team at home at Cameron than they are on the road. Ginyard pumps. Off the back iron, Singler with the outlet to Shire.
Man-to-man for North Carolina. Tough matchup for Graves.
A runner. Shire not there. Thomas, very athletic with the rebound, and Shire gets the second opportunity to fall. Another tray. It's 6-2 Duke.
One of the best ways to get a three-point opportunity is off an offensive rebound.
Mike Krzyzewski, his 30th year at Duke, 35th overall. Looking for career wins 780 and a 78% winning percentage while at Duke. 998th game coached at Duke. Something special for him tonight, as always. Playing against Roy Williams. While Roy was at Kansas, Coach K was 3-1 against him. But of late, Coach Williams has had the better of this rivalry. Drew.
See, I don't think that's a good shot. The layup in transition, okay for North Carolina, but early in the game, not the three-point attempt.
Smith made that one a little more difficult than he needed to in the open court. Deion Thompson, his leadership will be vital tonight. One of the seniors of this squad. 6-4 Blue Devils.
Particularly against Zubek, I think Deion Thompson has a big advantage when he can go away from the basket. He plays better facing the basket sometimes than with his back to it. And there's a guy. You better stay on him. Will Graves not noted as a defensive player. And Singler's already rung the bell twice from three-point range.
Kyle is one of those shooters too, Dan, as you know, is hot and cold. When it's there, it's really, really good. But there have been times, especially on the road, when he's gone somewhat invisible from downtown. Henson. Not there. Singler retrieves it.
So he tried to back him in that time, and when you try to back him in and you have your body right up against Zubek, that allows Zubek to use his size, make that a more difficult shot. This is a really tough matchup for Graves.
Shire leaves it for Smith. Davis, the long rebound. Drew, second gear, and he'll get to the free throw line. A fast start for the Devils from beyond the arc. They lead it by 5. Incredible players in this series, beginning with Art Heyman.
Tim, you can't have a great rivalry unless you have great teams, and you can't have great teams without great players. And you've got to look at a couple of the Duke guys, and of course North Carolina, they can answer as well. North Carolina with 9 people associated with the school coaches and players in the Naismith Hall of Fame. Tyler Hansbrough not in the Hall of Fame, but his number will be raised to the rafters tonight.
He'll be number 8. Atop the rafters here at the Green Dome. Take a look at our AT&T scoreboard. Look at that upset. Miami beating Georgia Tech. Clemson knocking off Florida State. That was a big one for the Tigers of Oliver Purnell.
This goes to show you the balance of the ACC team. Miami, everybody think, well, they're struggling, and yet they come up with a big, big win. Miami's got some elements. They've had some problems, but they've got some elements.
Knocked off Virginia Tech recently at home as well. They're playing North Carolina State tonight across town. Shire with a nice move. Floater in the lane. He's got 5.
Guys who move without the ball are very difficult to guard, and John Shire is not somebody who just stands around watching.
Drew throwing crossover. Davis collects that pass. It was a difficult one, though, and it's tapped in by Henson.
Boy, Henson's really doing a nice job batting that ball up in the air and controlling it just enough to get it in the goal.
You may have heard earlier today, Travis Ware out for this game, came down on his left ankle in practice yesterday, so along with Tyler Zeller, he's unable to go. Henson will have to play a lot of minutes tonight. Zubek misses inside.
Boy, you got to finish that one.
Dexter Strickland on the floor for the first time as well as Roy goes young. Henson shot, barely drew iron. Zubek with the rebound.
Get closer.
David Ware, the brother of Travis, on the floor now for North Carolina as well. Zubek giving it up to Shire. Shot clock down to 16. We haven't gotten down that far too often in this game so far. Shire, nice veteran move to draw the foul from Strickland. Roy disagrees. Take a look at our Chick-fil-A nugget of the game. Retired North Carolina jerseys in the past. As mentioned, this is some group that Tyler Hansbrough will join. Had a great opportunity last night, Dan, as I was coming into town. John's father, Jim, was on the flight with me, and he came down a few rows. I was sitting a little further in the back.
So did he listen to you?
No, I actually listened to him.
Ah, okay, all right.
And he told me just what a great ride it had been, and I asked him, I said, what's it been like? And he said, really, because it's coming to the end, almost surreal. You know, being the father of a young man playing in the Duke program, and how far this young guy has come as a player.
Well, he is a pretty impressive young man.
Duke by 6.
And Shire and Singler have all the points.
Between the three, they had 54 points. That game at Boston College, that was a struggle for them to get that win on the road at Chestnut Hill. You look at the turnover story early on. North Carolina with 3. Just over 6 minutes gone by.
Really impressed here early in the game with Duke's movement on the offensive end.
That one Shire forced a bit. Henson with the outlet to Strickland. Well, he went for the acrobatic, explosive play as opposed to the easy one.
Yeah, he lays it in. He's got 2 points. Maybe he gets a foul on Singler.
I think that's been part of the problem with this North Carolina team. Understanding that it doesn't have to be emphatic, it just needs to be effective.
And this is an area where Strickland can really be effective. He really pushes the ball up the court well. Just go for the layup in that situation.
Sometimes that high school All-America status can get in the way. Andre Dawkins is coming to the floor now, number 20 for Duke, the freshman from Chesapeake, Virginia.
And other times guys like Kyle Singler can get in the way.
That's right.
Singler was more important on that occasion.
Yes, he was. Yeah.
So you got to make that jump shot. That's the problem that North Carolina has had. They get penetration either with the dribble or with the pass. The defense collapses. They kick it outside, and they can't make the jump shot. The one thing that I would say on that particular occasion is David Ware needs to be a couple of steps closer to the basket. That was a longer shot than he needed to take. The North Carolina guys have to be able to find open spots in their shooting range. Pretty good start for North Carolina defensively. They just have not been able to score.
And Singler's been doing a lot of scoring, although he comes up empty this time off the bounce. Graves.
I don't think he sees Zubek behind him.
And was there any doubt he was going to take it all the way to the rim that time?
And was there any doubt Zubek was going to block it? He tracked him from the foul line on the other end.
He really did.
He's taking the ball. He never sees Zubek behind him, and Zubek does a great job. He comes over Singler and blocks that shot.
Ginyard triggers it in to Henson. There you see the drought.
And this just kills you when you're playing a team like Duke.
Strickland, that's a blocking foul. He'll get to the line. Zubek picks up his second foul. In visiting with Roy Williams before tonight's game, you could really sense that this was a place that he's never been. As a head coach, he's never had quite this kind of
You're
start
absolutely
to the
right,
season.
Tim. It's funny, as long as Roy Williams has coached, and I mean he's in the Hall of Fame, he's in uncharted waters here.
Really is. ACC basketball is brought to you in part by Toyota.
Difficult offensive start for North Carolina continues. And the problems sort of build on one another. North Carolina really doing a good job on the defensive end, particularly on the defensive board. Duke is getting nothing in terms of offensive rebounds, but the Tar Heels cannot come down on the other end and score, and they've already left a couple of points at the free throw line.
Again, a look at our AT&T scoreboard. That was a whale of a game between Connecticut and Syracuse earlier tonight.
Tim, and to illustrate the point, early in the game, North Carolina 3 for 14 shooting the ball.
That's a push down along the baseline.
Dawkins much quicker than Will Graves, and he recognizes that.
First foul on Graves. Third team foul against North Carolina. 8 minutes deep into this first half.
North Carolina in his zone after that out-of-bounds play.
Henson with a block, another block. Ginyard tracking it down, gives it to Strickland. Knocked away by Shire. What a nice move. Everyone expecting a big play, and the Chicagoan goes down there to disrupt it. Timeout. 11:47 remaining opening half.
We talked about Duke's primary offensive performers, and two of them, Kyle Singler and John Shire, have gotten off to very good starts. Singler with the first three-point basket, then Shire knocks down one. Singler gets open and gets another one, and then John Shire takes the ball down the lane off a good cut. Those guys, the two of them, have all of Duke's points.
The rest of the team in Oprah. Ginyard will trigger it in for North Carolina. Strickland, Henson, Thompson, and Graves join him on the floor. Blue Devils now have Mason Plumlee, brother of Miles, on the floor for the first time out of the timeout. Graves uses the window, kisses it through.
That's the kind of medium-range jump shot that I've been talking about, Tim. You've got to create those shots, and I think that'll open things up. Ginyard thus far, I think, has done a pretty nice job staying with John Shire.
Singler leaves it for Shire. Right on cue, he answers.
See, the problem is Kyle Singler beats Will Graves out on the perimeter. Ginyard has to go and help, and John Shire slides to a place where he can get a jump shot.
Strickland not there. Smith hauls down the rebound. Shire looking to motor, finds Lance Thomas. Well defended by Graves.
Duke has not finished well close to the basket.
Graves. Adnan Song, his first tray. He has 5, and the lead is down to 3. See the story from 3. Blue Devils have hit 3 more. That really ignited the crowd here at the Bean Dome, though, as Graves buried one. Shot clock under 10. Shire solo, not there. Thomas to finish up, and he's fouled by Henson on the putback.
Talked about North Carolina trying to get up and down the court very quickly. Here, Will Graves, he's running down the court, gets a great jump stop, and sometimes that 3 in transition is a pretty good shot if you catch it in rhythm, and that time Will Graves did.
ACC basketball is brought to you in part by AT&T, a better 3G experience. You know, you look at Lance Thomas's numbers, and it's easy to say, well, there are some limitations offensively. But if you think about it, Dan, in the case of both he and Miles Plumlee, and to some extent Zubek, they play their role for this team. They really do.
Well, Tim, there's not many points to be had when 3 other guys on the team are getting 60 among them.
Get some rebounds. Extend, perhaps, and defend wing players, guys that are smaller than you from time to time. Thomas can do all of that. There's the dump down to Davis. A quick double by Thomas. Right on cue, an outstanding defensive play. Coming over to give help.
Really was a good double team. Both of these teams, I'm very impressed with their defensive play here in this first half.
Here he is from his mid-range game. Oh, the iron unkind. It's pulled down by Henson.
Boy, just nothing doing on the offensive boards for Duke.
Drew, that was a little easy. First field goal for Larry Drew, and it's 18-15 Duke.
And Drew is not noted for his willingness to take the ball all the way to the goal in transition. I think that surprised the Blue Devils.
Thomas has it knocked away. Those tall timbers, it seemingly is always an advantage for Roy Williams in this matchup.
You have got to recognize the fact, if you're the Duke Blue Devils, that John Henson is going after everything on the inside. You got to find his man and dump the ball to him. Mason Plumlee did not do a good job getting into an open area that time.
Third block for Henson since coming into the game. He's out there now with... He's out of there now as Thompson has re-entered along with Ed Davis. But quality minutes from the freshman since coming in defensively for North Carolina. Shot clock at 5. Nolan Smith creates. And there's the follow by Mason Plumlee.
And again, Davis goes for the block shot. Nobody blocks out.
Thompson fouled Mason Plumlee coming over to give some help a little late in getting there. Picks up the personal.
When you've got guys going for blocked shots, if your guy goes to block the shot, the guy who's guarding you, you just go right to the basket. And Mason Plumlee did so that time. He also picks up the foul down on the other end.
You know, Dan, one of the things that's been mentioned about this North Carolina team, and obviously they're under a bigger microscope because of the name on the front of the jersey than most teams that would have lost 3 in a row and find themselves at 13 and 10 overall. But you know, a lot of times they're in position, but they don't always block out. A lot of times they could screen, but they don't. Those sorts of things have really befuddled, I think, a lot of people, including Roy Williams.
And, of course, you just saw a shot of Travis Ware and Tyler Zeller sitting on the bench. That's also befuddled Roy Williams a little bit. He's had guys hurt.
building has been on the precipice of explosion. And now a turnover by Nolan Smith gets them going even more. North Carolina looking for one of those vintage runs here in the first half.
There's Tyler Zeller and Travis Ware. We've talked about their injury. Tim, you know what makes a run? It's the ability to score. North Carolina's done a pretty nice job defensively. That's kept them in the game. Now, if they're going to win the game, they've got to put points on the board.
Graves off the curl with a three. This may be your run. Singler. Well defended by Graves. On the other end, he pumps.
Wasn't set that time, Tim. Never really got himself stopped.
Singler. Drew lost it. Mason Plumlee recovered it. Nolan Smith. Graves with the rebound. Ginyard looking to push now. That's a blocking foul against Nolan Smith.
Not bad, huh?
A 10-4 North Carolina run has knotted this one at 20. Want to have the experience of a lifetime at the ACC Men's Tournament? Text Haviland to 55333 for the chance to win transportation for 2, hotel and tickets to all tournament games, and go behind the scenes with the Raycom crew. Text Haviland to 55333 or enter online at theacc.com. Haviland, the official motor oil of the ACC.
Tim, very interesting start to this game. We talked to Roy Williams before the game. One of the things he was concerned about was North Carolina's ability to score points, and Will Graves has certainly helped out. He's knocked down 2 threes. He's got 8 points in the game, and that has been a big factor. Another factor is you talk about the Duke big three. Well, so far, North Carolina has been able to take one of those guys out of the game. Nolan Smith 0 for 6, and I think Larry Drew has done a great job defensively against Smith so far.
North Carolina's problem during this recent slump the last couple of weeks, the inability to get stops. Tonight, they've made them, at least early on. A turnover by David Ware right into the hands of Nolan Smith, the 5th turnover by North Carolina. Singler running the curl, decides to dump it down to Lance Thomas. He was well defended by Ginyard.
And Ginyard's been a huge factor defensively tonight. John Shire has scored, but he's had to work for it. And now Ginyard is matched up against Singler.
Smith, a blow by against Drew. Whirling dervish. Thomas there, misses from point-blank range. I think the size of North Carolina intimidated him a bit there. Miles Plumlee can't get it to go out of bounds to North Carolina.
Tim,
Duke will control it underneath their own hoop.
That is something that we've seen throughout this game thus far. Duke is having a very difficult time finishing around the rim. North Carolina has a couple of block shots, but basically it's just those big bodies in there. Duke guys have been off balance, not able to get the ball in the goal.
Yeah, Thomas double pumped. He didn't have to on that one that he had on the offensive putback opportunity. Deion Thompson gives it up and then collects the foul against Shire. Perfect pilfer by Shire, leading to the foul by Thompson.
Boy, these guys are really, really going at one.
There is no give up on any play by anyone. And Thompson with his first. That's always the case in this series. Whether the game is played in February or March, it is all out. Singler off the pump fake, unable to get it to go. Miles Plumlee back out there. Mason Plumlee will come in on the next dead ball for Duke. Leslie McDonald, number 15 for the Tar Heels in the game too. Thompson looking for the dump down. Prior to that, a foul spotted. And it'll go against Lance Thomas. Well, ready to get away during the ACC tournament. Raycom Sports will be giving away a getaway package for 2 to the 2010 ACC Football Championship, courtesy of Charlotte's Valentine Hotel and Lodge. Register today for your chance to win at the ACC.com or Raycomsports.com.
That's a bad shot.
Off balance, too, really.
Well, you can get that shot any time in the shot clock. There's no reason to shoot it with 30 seconds. Duke only 1 for 12 here recently.
Blue Devils haven't scored in the last 3:20, yet they're tied. Shire.
And now they do score.
Yes, they do. And it's now 23-20.
Only their second field goal in 13 attempts, and they have the lead in the game. Duke's doing a great job putting pressure on the ball. They're not denying passes, but they're really putting a lot of pressure on the ball.
Drew tries to make the adjustment, and it's flushed by Henson.
Boy, he's like Gumby with his ability to extend those arms. Yeah. Good heavens.
Got a little, we used to call Stacey Augmon the plastic man. He's got a little plastic man in him, no doubt about it. Singler, not there. Henson lost the rebound opportunity, and Smith made a nice save.
Well, you're disgusted to lose that opportunity, but Henson and Davis battling one another. You want to see your guys battle.
Ginyard, McDonald, and Ware all take a seat.
What's the character who can extend himself? Mr. Gadget, that's what Henson looks like.
Yeah, that's right. You are so into pop culture.
Yeah, that's me. Mr. 21st century. Nice pass.
Shire. John is struggling with his shot right now. There's a near takeaway, but Strickland comes out of there with it. Henson over Mason Plumlee. Tough shot. Poor Roger Ayers hit the deck. One of the photographers got him there.
Well, there's about 5,284 photographers here along that baseline today. Not much room.
And by the way, they're all legally there, okay? Everybody got credentials. Not many touches for Ed Davis. Have you noticed that? Ginyard struggling to get it up there. This has been the best play. Henson on a putback. Ginyard on a putback. Just get something up around the rim and let the Gumby lookalikes go get it. Or Gadget Man, or whatever you call them, right? You think they're expending some emotion tonight? If you didn't know college basketball season was underway, after Duke plays North Carolina, you know. We'll be right back. North Carolina leads it by 1, 24-23. Their only other lead came off the opening basket, 2-0. As you look at the best of the Blues in any great rivalry, you need to have this. Wow.
Well, you can have a pretty good rivalry without that, but I mean, good heavens.
That's why books are written, documentaries are produced.
And why everybody around here is crazy.
John Shire's 4 out of 10 from the floor. Let's see if he gets something going. He and Singler out of the break, and they do. A two-man game between two of the big three. That's 9 in the game for Kyle Singler.
Smith still hasn't scored in the game.
Really well defended, as you mentioned, Mike. And again, happened to me again. I beg your pardon. Really well defended through this entire first half. And a shot clock violation, speaking of defense, The Blue Devils do it again.
Well, they do it again, and that time Henson really did a nice job getting to the basket, but his Inspector Gadget moves failed him that time because he just was in too big a hurry. You know, he's a young player. The shot clock's running down. He figures he's got to get something. He had time.
Isn't this always the case, Dan, in rivalry games? You might be able to say it hasn't been particularly crisp on offense, but boy, if they played hard on defense.
It's been very intense. Shire. Oh, he got it again.
That may have been goaltending. That was close.
Well, it was close. I think that was a spectacular block.
The trajectory may have been on the way down. That's a great block for sure. He's up to 5 for the game. Could have been 6, but finally some stick-to-itiveness for the deuce inside for the Devils.
Plumlee finally got to that one, but Shire's a hard guy to convince.
Henson has been very effective in this first half. There he is on the offensive boards, unable to get the tip in.
Again, I think he's in a little bit too big a hurry. He had time in there. And here's where North Carolina struggled. They had the lead.
That's a walk.
They had the lead, but they have to be able to score.
Coming up at halftime, Dan, you'll have all kinds of analysis, highlights, stats, and more. That's all on Hardee's at the half. And Tyler Hansbrough will be honored at halftime. That'll be fun to see.
Yeah, that'll be really interesting. He got a huge ovation before the game. See, North Carolina's done a great job staying in this game in the first half. Now they've got to watch a Duke run that puts them way down. Oh, my.
Loose ball, Thomas on it, gives it up to Singler. Smart play, too.
Now, Thompson, why was he dribbling the ball? He caught the ball inside, and he went to dribble it and lost it. And what I was saying is here is Duke calls the timeout. North Carolina, you've got to score to prevent Duke from putting one of those runs together.
Now, Champion presents How You Play. This rivalry has always been about emotion and excellence, from Hall of Fame coaches to some of the greatest players in college basketball history. 2 storied programs who have combined to win 8 NCAA and 34 ACC tournament titles. Whether it's long-distance shots, buzzer-beating game-winning baskets, these two have shown why the game is one of the best rivalries in all of sports. And that's our Champion feature, celebrating the history and traditions of the ACC. Champion, it's how you play. It's interesting to me, Dan, coming into a game like this, the anticipation of it every year. And it really is the game that signals to much of America that college basketball is, as they say, in its stretch run. But when one of the teams is teetering, as North Carolina is with a record of 2-6 in the league, a lot of other fans and perhaps even teams in the ACC are a little upset with all the attention this game gets. But it richly deserves the attention. Singler in traffic is fouled.
Graves doing everything he can against Kyle Singler, but if Singler's going to have that much room to operate, Graves is just not going to be able to guard him. North Carolina has to bring some help and force Singler to give up that ball.
Second foul on Thompson, so Dion will take a seat.
When Henson comes back in the game, officially he has 4 block shots and 5 rebounds.
I think they missed one.
Well, he certainly hasn't missed any.
I'm pretty sure that he should have 5. He's been all over the place.
About a 6-second difference between the shot clock and the game clock.
You think chances are he might have 5 by the end of the game?
Shot clock at 5. Shire solo. Loose ball run down by Drew. All the way to the 10. Yes, and a foul. That is
some kind of a sequence for North Carolina. The ball goes on the floor. Drew comes up with it, and against 3 guys, knocks it home. Boy, that's the way you want to finish a half.
Remember that play in the second half of North Carolina mounts an early run. We'll remember that that was exactly what Roy was telling us before the game. We have to win those 50-50 plays, Dan. Those hustle plays.
I couldn't tell who it was for the Duke Blue Devils, but Duke actually had the ball, and the ball squirted out.
There were so many bodies on the deck. A lot of people got a touch. But in the end, North Carolina got, that's the equivalent really of getting a big boost with a Hail Mary at the end of the half in football. Speaking of Hail Marys, not there for Shire. And we're at halftime. Tar Heels may be down by 1, but it feels a lot better than that after that last sequence.
Very, very, very well played first half on the defensive end of the court.
Halftime activities are coming up from Chapel Hill, so you stay right where you are.
ACC basketball is being brought to you by Toyota, by Geico, by Chick-fil-A, by Gatorade, by Hardy, and by Progress Energy.
Duke is a place where opposites attract. We are structured and open-ended. We are classic and immediate. We are theoretical and realistic. We are local and we are global. We are spirited and thoughtful. We learn, we act, we put knowledge in service to society. We are Duke University.